A big, not so big game anymore. United take on Liverpool at Anfield. Hello and welcome to the All Balls channel. As usual, I have alongside me today Carl Lewis, but also Hussein Badri. Mr. Badri, what is happening?
Just the usual, man, working from home. It's a bit easier for me today because we don't have too many things to do for Manchester City over the weekend. We're not doing any social posts, nothing. As you know, we're working with them for a race across 12 different countries. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. And then just enjoying some of the games that are happening. Looking forward to the game tonight, which is going to
An
be,
Arsenal fan,
yeah.
an Arsenal fan associated with Man City. This is going to be interesting. But we'll get to your team later. Our first game, Southampton, Leicester. Carl, Leicester red hot form, but played a game very recently. So will there be squad rotation and will that
I
affect their game?
I think no. Southampton again has been a very hot and cold team. Leicester seems to be a lot more consistent in terms of getting out and grinding out results, even though they do tend to blip up a little bit. But from what I know, Southampton are one of the teams that have dropped more points from winning positions than any other team in the Premier League this season. So you can clearly see who's the favorite in this match. And Jose Perez, if he gets to start, considering the squad rotation, he's going to have what he scored 7 PL goals against Southampton, so he's got a purple patch against them. More than that, he has than any other side in the competition. So he has to hit two hat tricks against them, including in the 9-1 in the 9-0 triumph which happened last season. So I kind of just see Leicester just taking this completely. Unless it takes something really special from Danny Ings and company, maybe Theo Walcott also might just pop up. He also has a penchant for scoring against Leicester. So I don't know. I think it's Leicester to probably take this 1-1.
And speaking of Danny Ings, Hussein, you have Danny Ings on one side, and you have ex Man City man Iheanacho, who's probably he's the Premier League's hottest
Exception.
striker as of now. So
Yeah.
who's going to come out in that battle?
I think purely for the confidence that he's gained in the past few games and the way he's been working and also the kind of trust that Rodgers has put in him, I think Iheanacho is going to probably win that battle for sure. And I
But is
think
there a case of fit? Yeah, sorry, finish.
I also think the key player here would be Madison. Again, he scored against Southampton last in the previous fixture as well, and I think the way and Madison as well as Vardy, the way he is now not playing that sole striker role, and he's actually playing more of that assist provider, feeder towards these other two. I think Iheanacho will win that battle with the assistance of Vardy and Madison occasionally.
So, I mean, like Carla said, Southampton has not been very consistent this season. So, and on the other side, Leicester is going hammer and tong at these games. They're hell bent on getting third place.
Yeah.
Unless I see squad rotation and unless probably an Iheanacho is benched or a Vardy is benched just to rest them, I don't see Southampton coming out with anything from this game because their brightest players, they have four players who've shown at occasions in terms of Armstrong, Ward-Prowse, Ings, and Shea Adams, but not together. So I don't see them troubling Leicester. So what will be your prediction for this game? I'll start with you, Hussein.
I think Leicester's taking this one 2-0 to Leicester is what I think.
Carl, what do you think?
I would agree with Hussein, although I still think again a guy like Danny Ings is still dangerous on his day. So I still see Leicester winning this game 2-1, maybe 3-1. I would say, with probably Ings getting on the score sheet.
I think I'll give this to Southampton only because of fatigue for Leicester, but let's see.
Our next fixture has Roy Hodgson hosting recently crowned Carabao Cup champions Manchester City and also Hussein's employers. So it looks like a pretty open and shut case. But Hussein, what do you think about the result on this game?
I think City taking this one. I just don't know what team Pep's gonna put out over there because he's got that other midweek fixture against PSG, and the kind of I don't know. Firstly, I don't know whether Gundogan's going to be fit because he's got that bit of that bad tackle on his Achilles. So I don't know what team he'd put out, but I'll still give it to City. It's just about whether City are going to beat them really bad or not so bad. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to come down to. So I'd still say City winning, maybe 3-0 or 3-1, maybe.
That's actually a good point you got there, actually, Hussein, when it came to like what team is Pep going to put in. Because we on the show have also complained and argued a lot, like, especially for those in Fantasy Premier League and stuff like that. It kind of ruins a lot of fun from that aspect. I know Rahul is one who's someone who gets really annoyed when Pep keeps rotating his side. But then coming back now to this game, do you think there's anything, Rahul, that maybe Roy Hodgson can salvage in this game, or is just going to be a steamroll with probably a second side of Man City, knowing that their eye is on that return fixture against PSG?
It's not going to be a steamroll because Crystal Palace have always, been this pain in the ass for Man City. They've beaten them, in the last few seasons. They're not an easy team for City to beat. I won't call them City's bogey team, but somewhere City has trouble playing Palace, with the Townsend goal that sunk them a couple of seasons ago. It's not been an easy fixture for Man City. But then again, if you have a squad of like 485 world-class players, then you can put out new 11s every damn week and get away with it. Like, it's crazy. We've discussed their B team, which is good enough to probably beat an Arsenal or a Man United or a Liverpool this season. So it's a great City team. It's a great City squad. They will obviously not worry about the Premier League because I think they more or less captured it. The points gap is too much for them to cover. But yes, the Champions League is an important fixture. Mbappe, Neymar coming at them hard in this second leg. And Gundogan is an important player for them. He's that pivot around which the entire attack, goes around. So his fitness is important. He will, in all probability, be rested for this game.
Yeah.
But they have enough, reinforcements in the likes of Fernandinho, Bernardo Silva can play in the middle, Foden can play in the middle, Kevin De Bruyne, how much can you talk about him? But I still feel somewhere Palace is going to irritate them, and I'll probably give Palace a draw. I won't give them a win. The guts level has not gone up so high yet, but I'll give Palace a point with probably a Benteke or a Zaha scoring for them.
And Hussein, what do you think? Would you be you're going to stick to 2-0 as a score prediction, or?
I think I'll go with the 3-1 or a 2-1. I'd see Palace getting at least one of those goals and then City coming back and doing something. It could be that's something that could happen. I think I agree with Rahul when he says that yes, they could cause some problems for City because I think they get their best game out of City, best game against City most times. So you never know.
Yeah, well, Napoli.
#job loyalty. Brighton take on Leeds at the Amex. Murder ball. Can Brighton escape? Mr. Carl Lewis, your favorite team.
I think Brighton can escape. They look like a team that does. They seem to be flirting with the relegation spots every now and then with their performances, but they have just enough. They have a decent, good home form. They have a decent, set of players who can pull off results. It all depends on the Leeds side that turns up, because we have discussed this in the past. This Leeds side is hot and cold. There's never, I don't think so. Consistency is in Marcelo Bielsa's dictionary, So I think it can be. It does look like Leeds are the favorites for this game. But you know what, Brighton with Maupay, maybe Trossard also just hitting fine form, and that man Danny Welbeck. I kind of think Brighton can get a result out of it, but it will be difficult. But it really does depend on the team that Bielsa puts out.
Yeah. Please kindly address him as Lord Danny Welbeck, okay? He has played for multiple teams and scored multiple belters. But tell me if you agree with me, Hussein, that Leeds play some beautiful football, and so do Brighton. Brighton, like I mentioned multiple times on the show, they have not been thrashed this season. Like many of the other teams, whether they're the big six teams, City's conceded 5, Chelsea's conceded 5, United's conceded 6, Liverpool's conceded 7. So Brighton is a team that has not been hammered, and they play some pretty attractive football. And on the other side, Leeds is Leeds. So Are you seeing goals in this game, or are you seeing, this midfield battle, or just playing out from the back and the play being stagnant towards the attack?
Look, it's you're right when you're saying that. Firstly, great football that Brighton are playing purely because Graham Potter, who could possibly be next Tottenham manager, is what my prediction is. Right. Uh, it's about him carrying the team through constantly with his technical. I think he's pretty good technically. Putting out that team and his team performs to what he exactly wants most of the times. Now, cut to Leeds and the way they play. Look, man, it's that one goal from Stuart Dallas and it's all havoc, or it's one goal from Patrick Bamford and it's all everything could just break loose. I don't see it as a midfield battle per se, but it's all about who's going to score first and who gets first advantage, and the game then takes off from there. I'd go with Leeds here again for the kind of form that they're in, and like you said, it's on and off, right? You never know what they're going to come up with on the day, or what they've had for breakfast on the day, right? Or what just fed them for breakfast on the day. So, yeah, man, I think I'll go for Leeds on this one. I don't want to predict the score, but yes, Leeds taking this one.
And Carl, no Milivojevic in this one, but who's going to take 3 points?
Again, I told you, as me and Hussein kind of unanimously agree, and I'm sure you agree also, it depends on who steps on the pitch for Leeds. I'm going to throw a span into the works and just say, you know what, Brighton takes stealing this 1-2-1.
Nice.
I also feel Brighton's going to take it. Somewhere the Lord is going to step up, and that crybaby's not scored for a couple of games. Trossard's been quiet for a few games. And Bissouma he's turning into the bottom half of the table, Yaya Toure, all of a sudden. So I see that team now pushing for relegation, out of relegation rather, going away, separating themselves from the bottom 3. So they have that motivation with them. Leeds' only motivation is Bielsa sticking a stick up their ass if they don't play well. So I think Brighton has the better motivation. So I'll give it to them. I'm not predicting scorelines, but I think Brighton will take it. Fulham travel to the bridge. Mattia Kezman is back in the body of Timo Werner, who I cannot understand those misses. I mean, if you don't tell me he's Timo Werner, for me he's Mattia Kezman or he's Torres versus United with that open goal. What is that man doing? Like, Tuchel has finally come out and said that, boss, he's frustrating me right now. He's confident, he gets into positions, great. Get into that position, have bread butter and get out of the field. You're there to score goals. Score the bloody goals. Fulham, on the other hand, not had, a good few games battling relegation. I'll start with you, Carl. Chelsea first. Are they going to play their strongest lineup, considering they are also playing a midweek fixture, which is important to them? And what is going to happen in this game?
I think Thomas Tuchel is going to rotate the squad. I think we're going to see the likes of people like Alonso playing in this game, in the backer defense, because I think he needs to give a guy like N'Golo Kante, who literally bossed the midfield in the Champions League fixture. I think he wants to give him also a day off. So you might even see Kovacic getting into that position as well. Again, on the topic of Werner, it's like that meme, have you ever seen that meme where there's a lady in the pool with her 2 kids and the one kid is almost sinking and the mom is taking care of the other kid? Like, the kid that's almost sinking is Tammy Abraham. The other kid that's being helped by the mom is Kai Havertz and Werner. And then at the bottom of the pool, the skeleton in the wheelchair is probably Giroud. So I feel sorry for the current crop of strikers that are there in that squad that's not getting an opportunity, and this would be the best chance for them. But take nothing aside from Fulham, because they're a hungry team that's also fighting relegation, and you can see that Scott Parker can try and get results out of these big teams. So it really does depend as to how Tuchel is going to play his formation compared to the way Fulham will blitz teams, knowing how hungry they are. I mean, it's Chelsea at home, it's Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Of course, they're the favourites in this. But don't be surprised if Fulham pulls something special, like Josh Marshall also in really good form at the moment.
So, couple of things where Fulham will be without Loftus-Cheek because, he's on loan. He can't really play against his parent club. So that will be a big loss to them. And Fulham, the results are not going their way. Chelsea are great at the back. They do not, let too much go at the back. We saw versus Real Madrid during midweek that Madrid, yes, had their chances, but most of their chances were from outside the box. Benzema's shot was from outside the box. Tuchel will be pissed that they lost 3 headers. Is that something Fulham can capitalize on because they have some big guys? So Badri, can you want to tell me what you think Fulham's game plan is going to be?
See, defensively, as you said, and I also agree with Carl about most of the changes. I definitely think Kante is going to get a rest. Kovacic comes in for him. Marcus Alonso will get a start as well. That's what I think. I don't see Fulham scoring, and even if they do, they probably sneak in one because I think as a defensive unit, Chelsea are too strong right now. Right, you put in anyone in the back four or the back five or the back three, they're performing right, and they're performing purely because I think they know that Chelsea being the chopping club that they know that if I don't perform, I'm probably going to, fall out very soon. Uh, Defensively, I don't see too much happening for Chelsea. So Fulham might just sneak in a goal. That's it. Like you said, Loftus-Cheek cannot play now, so that's another big factor. But I think the wild card in this game is definitely going to be Tammy Abraham. That guy, so much potential. I don't know why none of these managers in Chelsea, you don't know what the player is going through as well, right? Maybe he's underconfident or what is going on with him. But he is that guy to look out for. If Arsenal had to go out and buy him in the transfer season, I'd be like all over it. Like go for that guy. He's so good. In the air, you know, he's just phenomenal. I don't think anyone is as good at Chelsea other than Giroud. I think he's going to be the X factor in the game, and I really hope he starts instead of Werner. And I don't know whether what Tuchel is going to do, whether he doesn't want to play Werner in the game against Madrid, and he maybe plays Werner in this game and gives Tammy Abraham a run in that game. In the next one, you don't know. But if Tammy Abraham starts in this one, he is definitely like I'd see like a goal or two from him at least, or at least a good game. If he's not scoring as well, he's going to have a good game.
Okay, so I'm going to put you two boys on the spot where, Hussein said that Fulham might just get one goal, which I think against Chelsea is more than enough because they've never scored more than two under Tuchel. They've conceded 5 versus a West Brom side, which is on the level as no, but they've not scored 2. So if you get the first goal against them, where are they going to get the goals from? Yeah. Keeping that in mind, what is going to be the result? Hussein, with you first.
I'd go with a 1-1 draw, is what I think.
After so much Tammy is gone with a 1-1 draw.
I'm saying, dude, the thing is, with Chelsea also, if you saw the performance against Madrid, yes, they had those 2 chances. They have about 5 shots on target, but it's with the conversion, right? It's just not happening. It's just not happening for them. I think they need that pre-season with Tuchel, and next season they might start scoring a few more, but they're just not getting that final ball in the third half.
So 1-1 for the Arsenal fan with hair. What about the Arsenal fan without hair?
It's gonna be again. It's the team that he puts out, and we've already discussed that. But it's gonna be a lot of pressure on that midfield. Whoever they bring in for Chelsea, who can be that creative outlook. I also have a very weird feeling that even a guy like Mason Mount, who has been their linchpin the whole season, probably getting a break, maybe coming off the bench or something to probably influence the game because again they've got that other eye on the return leg for the Champions League. I'm also looking forward to Tammy Abraham starting and maybe even giving Giroud also a go because they're proven goal scorers. I mean, we've discussed it before as well. Like they're very good on their days. So I see Chelsea winning this. But again, I'm going to play negative and I'm just going to say Mitrovic with the late winner. 2-1 to Fulham.
I'm just going to screw with all Chelsea fans because I just hate them, but not you, Davis. But yes, 1-0 Fulham.
Carlo Ancelotti's men are hosting Aston Villa. Seems to be a very exciting future, especially with Everton coming off that win against Arsenal, which we will come to Arsenal later on. But Everton right now, Hussein, your thoughts? Carlo Ancelotti, do you think that he's now again pushing in for that final push towards Europe?
Definitely, he wants that. He is the kingpin of Europe in a way. He thrives around that. Again, I don't want to say anything for him. He's just a great manager. Going for Europe, I see Everton coming out with a win over here, unless unless Aston Villa get that early goal like they've done against some other teams in the Premier League. I see Everton coming out with a win here.
And Rahul, again, we've discussed this in our previous episodes as well. Again, it's an Aston Villa that most likely will not have Jack Grealish because he's still probably out injured. Most likely, maybe if he's on the bench, he might just start. But again, how important it is now for this Aston Villa team to kind of come together and understand that, listen, we're not going to get this guy probably for the rest of the season. We need to figure out ways and finish up as high as possible in the table. Who do you think they're going to turn to in a situation like this?
They have very few options. They have Trezeguet. I'm not even sure if Trezeguet is fit. They have El Ghazi and Traore. So it's not like Villa have like a bunch of options to go back to. Plus, they've kind of lost the edge in terms of beating the big teams or troubling the big teams over the last few games. I mean, let alone big teams. They're not doing it against the mid-table teams or the teams who are lower down on the table. And that goes down to Jack Grealish. He is their out ball. He is the guy who will carry the ball forward to create these chances for the Watkins, for the Traores, for even the McGinns to push forward and the Barkleys to push forward. So while, yes, they have the driving engine in the middle in terms of Douglas Lewis, McGinn, Barkley, they have Mings at the back, they have Target, they have Cash. But I think Villa has just lost that edge. They'll probably get in a goal, but I think that goal will be a consolation. On the other hand, Everton, they're confident after their win against Arsenal. I won't say they're flying because Dominic Calvert-Lewin started like he's not going to stop scoring, and then he's gone on this drought. He's got a couple of goals. Richarlison filled in. There is a Sigurdsson. You have James who's come back in. So they have enough firepower. I think most important is their midfield where Alan has come back in. So he's controlling that now. So the Everton looks like the Everton of old. When I mean of old, I mean at the start of the season. And while I've said this 1,000 times and people will think I'm taking a dig at Liverpool, I'm not. If they win, they go above Liverpool, which is motivation for them. It is enough motivation for them. Stop laughing, you sadist buggers.
It's a sarcastic dig. Come on now.
No, it's not. I mean, why? If United has a chance to win a game and go above Man City, I'm sure they'll take it. If they have a chance to go above Liverpool, I'm sure if Arsenal has a chance to go above Spurs, I mean, I'm sure you'll say the same thing. So it's just that it's closer to Europe and it's above that game in hand takes them above Liverpool, which for them finishing above Liverpool will be a big thing this season. Even if they miss out on Europe, that is, left to see till the end of the season. But I just feel they have more motivation, they have better quality, they have more firepower, and they have more confidence. So it'll probably be a 3-1 to an Everton. Villa might just get a consolation, but that's all they're going to get.
Hussein, your score prediction?
Yeah, I'd go with a 3-1 as well. Actually, no, 2-1 to Everton.
Oh, okay, so Everton looks to be the favourites in this one.
Yeah.
Arsenal visits St. James's Park, and I have with me two Arsenal boys, straight-faced, slowly smiling. After that brilliant Bernd Leno own goal, tent on the table, giving me shit for no reason. I will start with the one with shining light on his head. Carl Lewis, we've spoken about Arsenal a lot. There is no Aubameyang. There is no form in your team. There is no creativity. There is no football. Please explain Arsenal to me this season.
As I said in the last episode, I've given up on this season. I've reserved this season to the fact that we're going to be mid-table mediocrity. I think we're putting all our eggs in that Europa League bag, which I think is really stupid when we really should be considering to compete on all formats of the game. Again, it's also a Newcastle team that's also flirting with the relegation zone. If they lose, they also get back into that contention of fighting for relegation. So it'll be a tight game. Steve Bruce has so far been getting results. He's got his own Santiago Munez on the bench, who might most likely, I don't think so he'll play because I think he's also contractually obliged not to play against his parent club. but you can probably see his influence around the pitch. I think this still looks like a game that Arsenal can win. But again, we have had the history of making these kind of struggling teams bring out the best in them. So, I mean, Joel Linton might just channel his inner Ronaldo and just suddenly smash it against us. And John Joe Shelby might just look like, like in-form Xavi. So, I still am confident that Arsenal can win this game. Again, it really depends on who Arteta is going to put on the pitch. There's still a lot of rotation. I know that there's a lot of players that are in contention. Tierney is going to be back. Aubameyang is going to be back. And I think even Lacazette is fit. So there is options there on the bench. But again, there's just a lack of motivation and drive. And I'm sure Hussein will back me up on this.
Absolutely.
So Willick probably...
Sorry, go on, Rahul.
No, I think Willick probably prefers his foster parents to his normal parents.
Yeah, and he made it pretty clear in that interview as well. He said that I'm not a super scout. Like, don't tell me that, and which is what he'll probably be once he comes to Arsenal. So, but a few contradicting things. I think when you say that these are the games that this is a game that Arsenal could probably get a win, I feel that it is another game that they probably bottled. But the thing is, we've come out of a loss from Everton. So this could be the one that will come out all guns blazing. Odegaard putting in a man of the match performance. Everyone talking about him on social media. That could possibly happen. I'm glad Willock would not be playing. I'm not sure about what that contract is, but I'm guessing he's not going to be able to play because he even mentioned that in that post-match thing that he did. What do I say about this team, man? It really all depends on the Europa League game that happens. Because unlike, what we're talking about, who is he going to put on the pitch and stuff? I want to see, okay, who is not going to come out injured out of that Thursday game? Because that's what's going to determine, okay, what happens to us on the weekend and who really performs. But one player that I really want to see more of, and I understand that, he's come off injuries and he's got an injury again. That would be Gabriel Martinelli. In the absence of Lacazette, he's the only one who actually, runs at defenses. He's the one who puts pressure on them, and that's exactly why we did so well against Slavia Prague in that last game in Europa. Would love to see more of him. If he's playing, I'd definitely give Arsenal a chance over there. Not really sure about what's going on with Tierney and the others. Maybe they play, maybe they don't play yet. But I'd love to see Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard in that game. And then if that happens, then we definitely in for a game and a win against Newcastle. But you never know, man. It really depends on Thursday. If we win on Thursday, I'm saying we might lose on the weekend. If we lose on
this is the state as Arsenal fans. We're not even confident in our own club itself as fans, and it's kind of scary that we've resorted to such a situation like this.
It's not even a roller coaster ride, right? It's just bumpy as fuck. Like you win again, you lose again. And it's not about just the results, right? It's about performance as well. It's like I'm performing so well against Slavia Prague, and then just because of one VR decision, everything just goes down. And I'm like, dude, we had a similar decision not go against Slavia Prague, and VAR is not helping anyway. Let me not get there, please. It's like football. You play with the pencils, and then you used to take that ruler and measure, okay, where is that ball going to go and how is that going to go in goal? It's just a joke. So anyway, I'm not going to get there. But if those players that I mentioned play for Arsenal, we will pull that win off.
I have taken a nap while you all have ranted about your team. I have had enough. I have had more than enough.
Don't worry, we'll wait for the next game.
We are going to come to quick score predictions. Pal.
Head and heart. Head says it's a 1-1 draw. Heart says 2-0 to Arsenal.
Head is shining light, so I think that's what's going to happen. Hussein.
If we play the players that are meant to be for that game, we'll come out with a 3-0. If something goes horribly wrong, I'd go with a loss. I don't know how much, but a loss.
Okay, so Arsenal's result is TBC
Field is a positive
as of now.
prediction.
TBC.
Arsenal's result is TBC as of now, and we will end this here because I am bored.
And now it's time to introduce the most mouth-watering fixture of game week 34. Of course, it's Manchester United hosting Liverpool. It's going to be fun. We were talking about sticks up people's asses. And let's start with Rahul, since we're on that flavor. Rahul, what do you think is Manchester United most likely going to take this one? Because Liverpool's a team that's hungry to get into Europe as well.
See, since we're talking about Liverpool, first I will start with the excuse that we used earlier, or rather our manager used. Our seats have changed colors, so now we will not confuse players with seats. So Klopp, this one's for you. But I'm not really confident about United at home. I'll be very honest, especially coming off the Europa League fixture. The squad, I don't know. I'm afraid he will play Fred. I'm very afraid he will play Fred. I'm palpitating and I don't get sleep at night that he will play Maguire. So these are the two things that are kind of, torturing me. But otherwise, we've got Cavani in the goals. Bruno has been quiet for a couple of games. Not quiet in a sense where, he's not been performing, but he's not registered a goal or an assist. But he is in the mix of things. That dummy against Burnley was absolutely fabulous. So Bruno still is quiet. He should probably erupt in this game like he usually does versus Liverpool. We've had the better of them this season already once. So that should give us some confidence, considering that Liverpool has not done too well this season is another part where United should get confident. But then again, the flip side of this is Liverpool's not at Anfield and United is at Old Trafford. That is not a combination I'm really looking at. Shaw versus Salah is a battle which I look forward to because I'm a little more confident with Shaw right now. But otherwise, a Firmino, a Mane or a Jota taking on Maguire is something that wants me to run away and not watch the game.
Yeah, I can
but
see
on the flip
Jota.
side, then
Sorry.
But you have Bruno, you have Rashford, you have Greenwood then taking on that Liverpool defense, which is, let's face it, it's not a Liverpool defense. It's a makeshift defense. So that is something they'll worry about. But yes, Harry Maguire is something I'm going to worry about.
Question for you, Rahul. Who's getting the first penalty?
Bruno. That goes without saying. You can give me all the VAR shit you want to. I have accepted it. We have been tortured by VAR enough. We've been given enough leverage by VAR. So I'm good with that. You cannot do anything about VAR. You've been a victim. We've been a victim. All the other clubs. Liverpool's been a victim. Spurs. Everyone's been a victim. So it's just how it is. It's it's like one of those Android updates which first they introduce and then when you complain about bugs, then they fix them in the next updates. That's what VAR is. They will give you this shit update which will heat your phone up and then they'll say, "Arey, download this also, it'll cool down." So that's going to happen mid-season. But I would probably be happy with a draw. I'll obviously want 3 points, but a draw would be good also because then that prevents Liverpool from Europe next season. So that is also, there's hidden motives over there. So yeah, I 1-1 maybe, but somewhere something is telling me that Salah is going to pop up with one of those crazy goals and he's going to, get them the points.
Mad props though, Rahul. I mean, I like how you're doing this whole reverse psychology. I think you're wearing the wrong jersey for discussing this game. You should be wearing a Liverpool jersey so that Man United will win. But I'm sure you're doing it right now for the Europa League.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were discussing about Bruno and Hussein. It's a tale of the two midfielders. You have two polar opposites in terms of midfielders. You have a person like Bruno Fernandes, and then you have a guy like Thiago. And you can both see that they're both having two very different seasons. And in the end, as Rahul did point out, that this game can go anywhere, most likely a draw also by the looks of it, although Liverpool are the more hungry team. Is Thiago still finding his feet, or is it just Klopp who's not figured out where exactly to pivot Thiago? Unlike OGS who has figured out how he can play Bruno.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's more of a Klopp problem for Thiago. Thiago's playing in the right position. It's probably just the additional duties that he's probably got to do when it comes to the defensive side of things. He's probably not got that Van Dijk who's going to be like, you know what, give me my space, just go do your thing in the middle, and we'll take care of it. I think it's that. It's not about Klopp having a problem, of how to play him and what needs to be done. It's also about what's behind him, right? I mean, he doesn't. I think with the passes, he's just sublime. I feel so bad. Like I was excited for Liverpool at one point, saying, "Oh, Thiago's going to come and play. And let's see." And the like injury he goes out for a very long time. I think it's just about him adapting to the Premier League as soon as possible, and things are going to get better for him. Uh, Even Ceballos came out and he made that statement. I think a couple of days back saying the Premier League game is very different, and I think my game is more suited to La Liga. Now, Thiago is someone who's come from La Liga. He's come from Bayern, who's played out and out counter-attacking football. Again, that suits the Liverpool style. Klopp kind of takes care of him in that way. But I think this season, let these 5 games just go. And I think if you really want to judge a Thiago, it's next season. It's like Pep in that first season, cribbing about how everyone's just playing long balls, and then he goes on and buys so many more defenders, and then he comes back with a shield of armor. Like he was just too good in that after that first season. So giving him that one season and then assessing or seeing what he does is more like it. Bruno, I think, is just going through a bad patch. That's what I think. It's just about a couple of goals, and he should be back in. And I'm not talking about a penalty. It's got to be a couple of good goals that he's got, whether it's an assist or a proper goal that he gets, and he's off to the races. In terms of the game, I think it's going to be a boring game, 1-1 or a 0-0, because everyone's, it's basically both the managers saving their ass. It's that kind of game for them. And all the past fixtures, I think they've had about 6 in the past, 6 or 7 games, which have just been dull games, like a 0-0 or 1-1. That's what it's been. But I do agree with Rahul saying, if Salah pulls out something out of the bag, it's a game of, it's a game of those 3 on top. It's about Bruno, Greenwood, and Rashford, or it's about Mane, Salah, and Jota really kicking it off. Whoever gets the better of each other is going to take this game, is what I think. Otherwise, it's just going to be a dull game, a 0-0, 1-1. Boring.
Let's see.
I'm going to step in here. No, 1 minute. I want to step in here and say dull game. You're an Arsenal fan, first of all. Secondly, for Thiago, yes, I agree with the fact that you can judge him next season, but I also feel it's to do with the fact that Fabinho hasn't really been there. If Fabinho covers that defensive side of midfield, then I think Thiago can be devastating.
Absolutely.
With what he has in front of him. But I don't really disagree with Badri when he says that Bruno's having a bad patch. Like I said, his name is not on the score sheet in terms of goals or assists, but the kind of games he's playing is good. And I think a challenge like Liverpool will bring out the best in him. And just to sum it up, a penalty is a goal, so shut up.
No, but look, I'm talking about what you just said, right? It's about that performance that he puts in, right? He needs that. He needs to get pumped up with that, with a good, early or a great assist to Rashford or something on those lines. Because, and dude, look, it's about the pressure that he's playing under as well, right? He's playing for United. I mean, everyone is now expecting him. The first name that came to your mind is him. No other player, not even Pogba, not Rashford, nobody else. Whereas they are much bigger names. And you're talking about Bruno. He's coming with a little bit of pressure. And dude, like, think about it. A lot of these players are also now playing with the Euros in mind, right? I mean, he's going to be pivotal for Portugal, and he wants to prove a point to his manager saying, I want to start every game. And that Portugal squad is looking lethal right now. And even Jota has a point to prove right now, and he probably might just get that chance to play. So these last 5 games, it's just about, it's in the players' mindset as well. They're also thinking, what better can I do for me to keep my place one, and also to make sure that I get into the Euros, because that's another big one for them.
Carabao Cup losers play the relegated side in the Premier League. Ex-Jose managed Tottenham Hotspur is playing Sheffield. Arsenal fans, are you happy?
Oh, extremely happy. I'm extremely happy. I mean, I don't feel bad. I mean, I don't want to sound so dark, but it is nice to wallow in people's miseries every now and then. And it's nice to see Spurs, their only chance to win a cup after so many years, has dwindled away. I mean, it's not like they had a chance in the Champions League last year. Come on, let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, my heart does go out for a guy like Son, who was in tears at the end of that game because he's such a talented player and there's such an immense amount of talent in that team that I'm sure now they're going to prove a point because I mean, it's already relegated Sheffield.
Yeah.
So they're just going to run riot on them. Like, unless Ryan Mason wants to probably blood the younger players and just push for the final spots. Yeah, I kind of just see Tottenham probably winning this easily, probably like 3-0 easily.
But Sheffield have nothing to lose. They've already been relegated. So teams play better when I feel that when they have nothing to lose. So Badri, is this a case of party poopers? You think Sheffield has anything to get any point out of this game?
I don't think so. I think Tottenham's going to come hard at this. Harry Kane and Son are going to be at it. They really want to prove a point, saying it wasn't just like it was just a bad day for them out, at the Carabao Cup. I think they're going to put their best team out and they're going to play their best football to come out with points with the 3 points.
I just feel they have nothing to lose. They're going to come out, they're going to express themselves, and they're going to enjoy because they know they're out.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think they come up with a winning performance. Is what I think.
Since both you Arsenal fans have predicted a Spurs win, I will not ask you for the scoreline, but just tell me, do you see Spurs playing the Champions League next season?
Oh no.
Yes or no?
No.
Carl.
As much as I hate them, and yeah, I don't see them. I don't think so. They most likely will be getting the Champions League spot. It's going to take a lot for them to get into Champions League or get into Europe for that matter. But things can happen. But I really couldn't be bothered about a team like Spurs.
I think Arsenal have more of a chance. If we have 3 good innings, I think we can.
Sure. We're going to end the segment on that joke.
West Brom, another team that's in the relegation zone that has another mountain to climb to get out, which is managed by Big Sam, will be hosting a rather wounded Wolverhampton. The Wolves not looking good after their loss against Burnley, and they're coming up against a team that seems to be hitting really good form, especially under Sam Allardyce in trying to get out of the relegation zone. So Hussein, where do you think this game is going to take us?
This is the most unpredictable fixture, I think, purely because of the form that Wolves are in and because of Big Sam. Dude, he can literally pull off, these are the games that he pulls off some of the best results. So you never know. However, I'm still going with a Wolves, a good performance by Wolves, but you never know. This game could go either or.
Yeah, I like what you mentioned over there. I mean, Rahul, do you think so? It's the same case. Do you think like Sam Allardyce is just going to be like kick him when they're down kind of a scenario, knowing that, Wolves went through such a battle against Burnley?
See, West Brom has had good results. They've had their best result probably where they scored 5 against Chelsea. They've got 2 goals against Villa. They are on a run. And Wolves, you talk about teams being under the radar. Wolves is not even on the radar. I don't think we've spoken about a Wolves win for a very long time. Wolves is gone, beaten this team, or got a great performance, or got a point against one of the big clubs. Nothing of that sort has happened in the last few weeks. There's nothing really to talk about Wolves. Initially you had a Traore, Podence, and a Neto to talk about when there was no Jimenez. Now that has faded out as well. It was on the cards that these players are going to, fade out. They're going to tire. They're going to run out of ideas because they're carrying the team. Neto has been doing what he's doing for Wolves. I don't think any other player has. Traore has a very bad record this season. And they're just off the radar. So they'll just be happy to finish somewhere between, 13, 14, just take it on the chin and come back next season when Jimenez is back and show what they're made of. But this season, I feel Wolves is out. They're down and out. And I just see West Brom running away with this one. I never thought I would say that about a West Brom team. But I just feel this is an easy 2-0, 3-0 for them. Also because Wolves shot on confidence after the hammering Burnley gave them. So not sure how they're going to come back from that. Even if they come out all guns blazing, West Brom has enough firepower to hit them on the counter. And under Big Sam, I think it's inevitable that West Brom's going to get 3 points in this one. West Ham traveled to Burnley. Carl, Burnley, big win. West Ham, big loss, but chasing Europe. Burnley, more or less safe. What is this game going to be like?
West Ham does have a decent record on the road. Burnley, on the other hand, again, they're just going to be on a high at the moment when it comes to, from that result against the Wolves. So I'd like to give it to Burnley, but I think we haven't seen the last of Jesse Lingard, and I still think he's got a lot to prove with these last couple of games. And apparently, rumor has it that he also wants to make his move to West Ham permanent as well, because Moyes is keen on having him as well. So I can see probably West Ham bouncing back from that last defeat and coming back to win this one easily, probably like a 2-0 victory.
Hussein, West Ham, you can call it a blip. Burnley, one game this season where they've actually gone out, played football on the ground, and got 4 goals. So do you see West Ham just overpowering them with the individuals they have, the form they've been in this season, and where they are in the table, where they are, the kind of motivation they have to get to Europe? Or do you see Burnley and Chris Wood continuing the form from the last game?
So there are two things here, right? I mean, yes, West Ham are going to go all guns blazing. They want to win that spot in Europe. This is their best chance to do it. Burnley, if you see the transition that they've had, they've in the past few games they've started playing that attacking football, right? And you would not have seen those goals that Chris would have scored, or Vidra,
Westwood.
the guy who's
And Vidra, yeah.
With him. I also see him having a good game, but I still think it's going to be a Moyes and Lingard masterclass here, because I think Lingard, again, like he's going to, anyone who's dropped him in FPL, he's going to come back and say, you know what, sorry, you dropped me, but it's your loss.
Not the FPL curse.
But Burnley, apart from Chris Wood, they have, like I said last episode also, the poor man's TIMO Werner in Vidra. But apart from that, there is nothing there. Wood has clicked for one game, great. Is he going to do it again? I'm not sure. West Ham, much better outfit, better as a team, done well this season. Moyes and Lingard obviously working together, looking great. So I'm going to go for probably a 3-0 to West Ham. What about you boys?
I'd go for 2-0. I think 2-0, J-Lings with a goal and an assist. Maybe Soucek popping up for the second one.
I'll go with the 3-0 as well. It's purely because of, I also, everyone's talking about Chris Wood, but it's something to do with his consistency as well. Think about it. He's ex-Leeds United. Had that guy played under Bielsa, you don't know what would have happened, but Leeds United probably let him go off on consistency. That's something that he lacks. And 3-0 to West Ham.
And Carl, J-Lings, really?
Hey, it's
Really?
the word that's out on the street, man. Don't hit the player, hit the game.
That is how Man It's okay.
Bye. Liverpool visit Old Trafford, which probably could prove their biggest game of the season. Hussein, thank you for joining us. It was amazing having you.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you for hosting me. And it's been great talking to you guys, man. And keep doing the good work.
I will come to your door if the United prediction is wrong. But guys, do let us know what you feel in the comments. Also, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Stay safe.
Peace.
Peace.